Welcome to our tutorial on cataloging Cyrillic language monographs in OCLC. While this tutorial is not exhaustive, it provides the foundational steps to create a full-level bibliographic record in OCLC, which is, as we all know, a collaborative resource for catalogers to find bibliographic records for diverse library materials. And as we also know, as soon as a tutorial is created, it's already out of date soon after. This tutorial was created in early 2025 and reflects the current practices. In this presentation, we will focus on monographs in Cyrillic language using a Russian book as our example. The instructions also apply to other languages using the Cyrillic alphabet, and you know them: Ukrainian, Belarusian, Bulgarian, just to name a few. There are actually about 50 other languages that use the Cyrillic alphabet. Some of these principles discussed here will be also relevant to other non-Latin scripts. Ensure you have the languages you frequently catalog installed in your computer before you start cataloging. That gives you the keyboard layouts you need, while there are various websites that assist you to create scripts for copy-pasting. OCLC may not recognize some characters, and you might end up with error messages. To simplify your work, consider purchasing transparent keyboard stickers with Cyrillic characters. These options are very affordable and can be found online. If you plan to do a lot of cataloging in these languages, you may want to have a keyboard that already has both character sets printed. Alternatively, you can search for the exact keyboard layout that is needed on the internet. When cataloging in one of the Cyrillic languages, simply switch the keyboard language on your computer. This demonstration here is based on creating a bibliographic record in OCLC. If your institution does not subscribe to OCLC, you can still apply the same cataloging practices, adjusting the steps to fit your library's cataloging software. Please note that in this presentation, there are a few minor inconsistencies in the screenshots due to resolution issues during the initial capture. So therefore, some screenshots had to be recreated for clarity. Now let's dive straight in. You got a book, and as already mentioned, we will use a Russian book for this presentation. And you can either look it up by the ISBN number, which is the easiest thing to do, or by the title, if it is an older publication without the ISBN number. If you do a title search for the book in OCLC with Russian characters. This ensures you do not miss good bibliographic records. When you enter the title or the ISBN number correctly, OCLC will show you all it has, depending on your search settings. And once in a while, you get a message that no record was found. Or the records that were found are very basic vendor records that need a lot of work to make it acceptable for your institutional catalog. If no suitable record is found, you will need to create a new record. As shown in the left image, navigate to Cataloging, then Single Record, Books, And then OCLC will generate a new bibliographic record with your institution's code in a 040 field. At this stage of record creation, I'm still working with a Latin-based keyboard. Or you need to switch back to it if you use the Russian keyboard for the title search. Now you need to adjust the fixed fields at the top of the record based on the publication details. Or you do the fixed fields while you are cataloging the actual record. It is up to your preferences. And then you start entering the information. I usually skip the call number and do it later after I have established the subject headings. Enter the Russian title by switching to the Russian keyboard. You may need to switch back and forth between keyboards when necessary. I suggest skipping the transliteration of the 245 field until all Russian text is entered. And I will show you later what I mean by transliteration. Continue with the 264 and with any 5XX fields in Russian, if applicable. This book did not need any 5XX fields, and I will show you a few examples of those later with a different book. Then switch back to the Latin keyboard and enter the remaining information. Some catalogers prefer to include names of persons and institutions in both Latinized and Cyrillic forms. Check with your institution for specific preferences or rules. You can link those fields now or later, and I will show you how to link it. I usually do it after all the transliteration is done, but that's my own preference. To link fields, right-click in a field with a Russian text, and then select Link Fields. In case you need to unlink two fields, follow the same steps and select Unlink Fields instead. Link fields will display a bracket on the left side. You can also link all fields at once by clicking the Validate checkmark. If this checkmark is not visible on your layout, add it via Tools and then select Toolbar Editor. There you will find a list of tools and you just drag those you regularly need into your toolbar. Alternatively, for linking, use Edit, then Linking Fields, and then Link Fields. And as you can see, the Validate checkmark I mentioned a few seconds ago is also found here under Edit. The next step is to transliterate the Russian 245 and 264 fields, and also the 5XX fields if there are any. The slow way is to use the Library of Congress transliteration table. They have a transliteration table for each major language, and the fastest way to find those is to Google them. The diacritics and special characters can be added by using the diacritics tool, which can be added to your toolbar via the toolbar editor mentioned before. Alternatively, you can also access the diacritics tool through Edit and then click on Enter Diacritics. For a faster method, configure your OCLC with a macro created by Joel Hahn. To find it, search for the Slavic cataloging manual in your browser. Click on a magnifying glass, which opens a search function, and enter the term OCLC macro. Click on a result that states adding Cyrillic fields in bibliographic records, which is here the first result on the top. And this page opens, and here are the step-by-step instructions how to do it. Follow the link to Joel's website and download the macro, ensuring compatibility with your OCLC version. Most of us will probably use version 3 or higher at the present. And below in red, that's the URL if you want to go directly to this page. To use this macro, click on a line you want to transliterate. Please make sure you have the Latin-based keyboard activated, not the Cyrillic one. Then press Ctrl-T on your keyboard, and you will see this window. Adjust the language if necessary, and then press OK. This creates a parallel 245 field with transliterated Latin text, and it also links the fields at the same time. Repeat that step for each line that needs transliteration. This macro works also in the other direction, taking a transliterated Latin-based text and turning it into a field that contains Cyrillic characters. In that case, use Ctrl-L instead. Ensure you use the correct OCLC characters and diacritics to avoid error messages. If transliteration errors occur, switch to the Russian keyboard, correct those, and then retransliterate back. Joel Han has created several macros to simplify cataloging in OCLC. Search the internet for Han library and macros for connection client to find those macros. Or enter this URL to go directly to his website. Next, add the appropriate subject headings into the 6xx fields and select a call number that best represents the book topic. Then validate your record using the green check mark, which, as I already mentioned, can be added to your taskbar from the toolbox. Alternatively, use Edit and then Validate. Once validated, save the record in OCLC and import it into your library's ILS system. Some books may include additional information such as series statements, edition statements, a summary, or other relevant details. As you can easily see, this example belongs to a different book, since my other book I used here did not have anything that needed to be added to the bibliographic record. For example, a record might include a 490 entry for the series statement, a 500 statement, or a 505 statement for the content, just to name a few. Some catalogers also provide additional name headings in a vernacular script for the 100, 600, and 700 fields, so this is not required by PCC guidelines. If the book is published in a country that uses two completely different alphabet characters, you might consider adding a 546 field, as in this case for a book in a Mongolian language that was published in a Cyrillic alphabet. For a Russian or Ukrainian book, I usually skip this field. There are certain fields that do require parallel fields. This information is available in a Slavic cataloging manual, which I already mentioned before. And this manual is a valuable but lesser known resource. Use the search function on the manual's website to locate specific information. There might be institutions that require other fields to be added, so please always follow the instructions your library has in place. And that's already concludes this tutorial on cataloging monographs originally printed in a Cyrillic script. Thank you for following along.